The Galactic Council chamber was full of noise. Representatives from 12 different species sat in their seats, arguing about the same topic they had argued about for 30 years: humanity. Ambassador of the Dominion stood at the center platform. His gray skin reflected the lights above him. His 4 eyes scanned the room as he spoke. "The humans must remain in quarantine," he said. "They are violent. They are primitive. They spent their entire history killing each other. We cannot allow such a species to spread among the stars." Several representatives nodded in agreement. Others remained silent. Elder Counselor of the People raised her thin hand. She was over 300 years old, and her blue skin had faded with age, but her voice was still strong. "We have kept them trapped in their home system for 3 decades, she said. "Perhaps it is time to reconsider." A turned to face her. "Reconsider? Have you forgotten their history? They built weapons that could destroy their own world. They fought wars over land, over resources, over ideas. They are dangerous." "They are also curious," replied. "They are creative. They adapt faster than any species we have ever encountered. Perhaps these qualities could benefit the galaxy." Admiral or of the Empire laughed. He was a large creature with thick green scales and sharp teeth. His people were warriors, and they respected strength above all else. "Benefit the galaxy?" he said. "The humans are weak. They live on a death world filled with predators and poison and natural disasters, yet they have no natural weapons, no claws, no armor. They are soft and fragile. The only reason we quarantine them is because they are unpredictable, not because they are a threat." The council continued to argue. After 2 hours, they held a vote. The result was 11-1 in favor of extending humanity's quarantine for another 100 years. Only voted against it. She closed her eyes and felt a deep sadness. She had met humans once, 30 years ago, during the first contact mission. She had seen something in them that the others missed, but no one would listen to her. The council prepared to move on to other business. Then the alarms started. Red lights flashed throughout the station. A loud warning sound echoed through the chamber. Every representative looked up in confusion and fear. A young officer ran into the room. His face was pale with shock. "A ship," he said. "A massive ship just came out of hyperspace. It is heading directly toward us." I stood up quickly. "What species?" The officer shook his head. "Human." The chamber fell completely silent. "That is impossible," Admiral Orr said. "The humans do not have hyperspace technology. They are centuries away from developing it." "I am only reporting what our sensors show," the officer said. "The ship is human, and it is larger than anything we have ever seen them build." The council rushed to the observation deck. Through the massive windows, they could see it. A ship unlike anything in the galaxy. It was sleek and powerful, built for both speed and war. On its hull, written in the human language, were the words USS Liberty. 16 warships from various council species moved to intercept the human vessel. They surrounded it in a tight formation, weapons ready to fire. On the bridge of the Liberty, Captain Daniel Cole watched the alien ships approach. He was 53 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. Every decision he had ever made led him here. 16 ships, Captain, Commander Lisa Park reported. She was his first officer, a sharp woman in her early 40s who never showed fear. "They are charging weapons." "Expected," Cole said calmly. "Open a channel." Lieutenant Koren worked at the communications station. She was young, barely 30, but she was the best translator in the fleet. She had spent 10 years studying every alien language humanity had ever recorded. "Channel open, sir," she said. Cole stood up from his chair. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. "This is Captain Daniel Cole of the USS Liberty," he said. "We come in peace. We request permission to speak with the Galactic Council." The response came quickly. It was Admiral Orr's voice, filled with anger and disbelief. "Human vessel, you have violated galactic law. You are forbidden from leaving your home system. Surrender immediately or you will be destroyed." Cole did not react to the threat. He had expected it. "Admiral, I understand your concern," he said. "But we have not come to fight. We have come to warn you. There is a threat approaching this galaxy, a threat that will destroy us all if we do not work together." There was a long pause, then Orr laughed. "A threat? You expect us to believe that? This is obviously a trick to escape your quarantine. Surrender now, I will not ask again. Cole looked at Commander Park. She nodded slightly. Admiral, Cole said, we come in peace. We also come prepared. If you attack us, we will defend ourselves. But I am asking you, please just listen to what we have to say. In the council chamber, the representatives watched the standoff on their screens. A was furious, or was eager for battle, but watched the human captain's face carefully. She saw no fear in his eyes. She saw no aggression. She saw only determination. Something is different about this, she said quietly. What do you mean? Asked. They knew we would respond with force, she said. They knew we would threaten them, yet they came anyway. Why would they take such a risk unless they were telling the truth? Dismissed her with a wave of his hand. They are humans. They do not think logically. They act on emotion and instinct. On the Liberty, Chief Engineer Sam called up from the engine room. He was 28 years old, a genius from Detroit who had designed half the systems on the ship. Captain, their weapons are fully charged. If they fire, our shields will hold, but we will take damage. Understood, Cole said. Hold position, do not power up weapons. Sir, Commander Park looked at him with concern. We did not come here to start a war, Commander. We came here to prevent one. The galaxy held its breath. 16 alien warships surrounded a single human vessel. The Council watched and waited, and Captain Daniel Cole stood firm, knowing that the next few minutes would decide the fate of every living being in the galaxy. The standoff continued for nearly an hour. The 16 alien warships held their position around the Liberty. Their weapons remained charged and ready. On the Council station, the representatives argued about what to do next. Admiral Orr had lost his patience. He paced back and forth in the Council chamber, his heavy boots shaking the floor with each step. We should destroy them now, he said. They have broken galactic law. They must face the consequences. And if they are telling the truth, asked, what if there really is a threat coming? Then we will deal with it ourselves, Orr replied. We do not need help from primitive humans. Nodded in agreement. The Admiral is right. We cannot show weakness. If we let the humans talk their way out of this, every other quarantine species will try the same thing. Shook her head sadly. She knew she could not change their minds, but she also knew that something important was happening. She could feel it. Orr opened a channel to his fleet. All ships move to attack position. Prepare to fire on my command. On the Liberty, Lieutenant intercepted the transmission. Her face went pale. Captain, they are preparing to attack. Cole remained calm. How long until they fire? Less than 2 minutes, sir. Commander Park stepped closer to Cole. Captain, we need to do something. We cannot just sit here and let them destroy us. Cole thought for a moment. He had hoped it would not come to this, but he had prepared for it. Sam, he said into the communicator, activate the gravity pulse. Minimum power, push them back, but do not damage them. Yes, sir, replied from the engine room. The alien ships were closing in. Their weapons glowed with energy, or was about to give the order to fire. Then something happened that no one expected. A wave of energy spread out from the Liberty. It was invisible to the eye, but every ship in the area felt it. The 16 warships were pushed backward, gently but firmly. They moved several kilometers away from the human vessel in just a few seconds. No damage, no casualties, just distance. The alien captains panicked. They had never seen anything like this. Their ships were the most advanced in the galaxy, yet the humans had moved them like toys. In the council chamber, silence fell over the room. Every representative stared at their screens in disbelief. What was that? A whispered. Gravitational manipulation, said. They can control gravity itself. This is technology we thought was impossible. Orr's scales had turned a darker shade of green. This was a sign of fear among his people. He tried to hide it, but everyone noticed. They could have destroyed my ships, he said quietly, but they did not. No, agreed, they chose not to. On the Liberty, Cole watched the alien ships recover from the pulse. He took no pleasure in demonstrating his ship's power, but he had no choice. Open a channel to the council station, he ordered. Channel open, sir, said. Cole spoke clearly and slowly. He wanted every word to be understood. Council members, I apologize for that demonstration, but I needed you to understand something. We did not build this ship to conquer your worlds. We did not build it to take revenge for 30 years of quarantine. We built it because we discovered something that terrified us." He paused and looked at Commander Park. She gave him an encouraging nod. 50 years ago, our scientists built the most powerful telescope in human history. They pointed it at the space between galaxies, at the void where nothing should exist. And they found something. A fleet of ships, larger than anything you can imagine, moving toward our galaxy. They will arrive in 18 months. The council chamber erupted in noise. Representatives shouted questions and accusations. Some called Cole a liar, others demanded proof. Cole continued speaking over the chaos. "We have been watching this fleet for decades. We have analyzed their signals, their movements, their technology. They are not explorers. They are not traders. They are hunters. They consume entire civilizations for resources. We call them the harvesters." Raised her hand for silence. The chamber slowly grew quiet. "Captain Cole," she said, "do you have evidence of this?" "Yes, Elder Counselor. I am transmitting all our data to the Council now. 50 years of observations, every signal we intercepted, every analysis we conducted. Look at it yourself. Then tell me if we are lying." The data appeared on every screen in the Council chamber. It was massive. Years of research, thousands of images, millions of data points. It would take weeks to analyze it all properly, but even a quick look showed something disturbing. The ships in the images were enormous. They dwarfed anything the galaxy had ever built, and there were hundreds of them. "This could be fake," said, but his voice lacked conviction. "It could be," Cole agreed. "But ask yourself this. Why would we risk everything to come here with a lie? Why would we build a warship and face your entire fleet just to tell you a story? What do we gain from that?" No one had an answer. Studied the data carefully. Her old eyes moved slowly across the screens. Then she saw something that made her heart stop. "I recognize these ships," she said. Everyone turned to look at her. "What do you mean?" Or asked. "They have records going back 12,000 years. In our ancient texts, there are descriptions of an enemy that came from the void. They arrived 7,000 years ago. They destroyed 3 civilizations before the combined fleets of the galaxy drove them away. We lost millions of lives. We thought they were gone forever." 3 days passed. The Council studied the human data carefully. They checked every number, every image, every signal. They used their own equipment to scan the void between galaxies, and they found exactly what the humans said they would find. The Harvester fleet was real. It was coming, and it was closer than anyone expected. On the 4th day, the Council made a decision. They invited Captain Cole and a small team to the station for a formal meeting. It was the first time humans had been allowed to set foot on Council property in 30 years. Cole chose his team carefully. Commander Park would come as his military advisor. Dr. Humanity's chief would present the scientific data. And Lieutenant would serve as translator, though most Council species spoke the common galactic language. The shuttle docked at the station without incident. When the doors opened, Cole took a deep breath and stepped onto alien ground for the first time in his life. The station was beautiful. High ceilings covered with glowing crystals, walls made of materials that seemed to shift color as you walked past them, air that smelled clean and slightly sweet. It was nothing like the cold metal corridors of human ships. A group of Council guards waited for them. They were soldiers, tall and heavily armed. They did not look friendly. "Follow us," one of them said. "The Council is waiting." The humans walked through the station in silence. Other species stopped to watch them pass. Some looked curious, others looked afraid, a few looked angry. Doctor studied everything with wide eyes. She had spent her entire career learning about alien life from a distance. Now she was surrounded by it. "This is amazing," she whispered to Cole. "Stay focused," he replied quietly. "We have work to do." They reached the Council chamber. The doors opened and the humans walked in. 12 representatives sat in a half circle, looking down at them from elevated seats. It was designed to make visitors feel small and weak. Cole did not let it affect him. Rose from her seat. She was the only representative who walked down to greet them personally. "Captain Cole," she said, extending her thin blue hand. "Welcome to the Galactic Council. I am Elder Counselor of the—" Cole took her hand gently. Her skin was cool and smooth. "Thank you, Elder Counselor. I remember you from the first contact records. You were the only one who supported us." Smiled sadly. "I wish I had done more. Perhaps things would be different now." Cleared his throat loudly. We did not invite the humans here for pleasantries. Let us begin. The meeting started with questions. The council wanted to know everything about the harvesters. How did humanity discover them? How did they develop their technology so quickly? What exactly did they want from the council? Doctor answered most of the scientific questions. She was nervous at first, but her passion for the subject soon took over. She explained how human astronomers had detected the harvester fleet by accident while searching for dark matter. She described the years of secret research that followed. We knew we could not face them alone, she said. Humanity is only one species on one world, but we also knew the galaxy would not help us. You had made your feelings about humanity very clear. So you built a warship in secret, or said. You developed weapons and technology you should not have. You broke every law we created. Cole stepped forward. Yes, we did, and I would do it again. The chamber grew tense. Several representatives shifted uncomfortably in their seats. You quarantined us because you thought we were dangerous, Cole continued. You thought we were too violent, too primitive, too unpredictable. Maybe you were right, but those same qualities are exactly what we need now. He began to pace slowly in front of the council. His voice was calm but strong. Humans have been fighting since the beginning of our history. We fought animals. We fought nature. We fought each other. We learned how to survive in conditions that would kill most species, and we learned how to win wars against enemies stronger than ourselves. He stopped and looked directly at Orr. Your people are warriors, Admiral. You respect strength. So let me tell you something about human strength. We do not give up. When we face an enemy we cannot beat, we do not surrender. We find another way. We adapt. We improve. We keep fighting until we win or until there is nothing left of us. He turned to address the entire council. The harvesters have conquered hundreds of civilizations. They have never been truly defeated, but they have also never faced humanity. They do not know what we are capable of, and that is our advantage. Nodded slowly. You speak of the human spirit. I have read about it. Your capacity for persistence is remarkable. It is more than persistence, Cole said. It is stubbornness. It is refusing to accept that something is impossible. It is looking at a problem that everyone says cannot be solved and solving it anyway. He pulled something from his pocket. It was a small device, no larger than his palm. He held it up for the council to see. This is a quantum communicator. It allows instant communication across any distance. Your scientists said this technology was impossible. They said it violated the laws of physics. Our scientists built it anyway. The council members leaned forward, staring at the device with amazement and disbelief. We are not here to prove we are better than you, Cole said. We are here because we are all going to die if we do not work together. The harvesters do not care about species or politics. They will consume every world in this galaxy, yours and ours alike. The only question is whether we fight them together or die separately. An alarm suddenly echoed through the chamber. Red lights began to flash. A council officer rushed into the room with fear on his face. We have detected a ship at the edge of the sector, he said. It matches the profile of the harvester vessels in the human data. Cole's face went pale. That is impossible. They should not be here for another 18 months. It appears to be a scout ship, the officer continued. It is heading toward the defense fleet. Orr jumped to his feet. How many ships? Just one, Admiral. Orr laughed with relief. One ship. My fleet will destroy it easily. The defense fleet consisted of 20 warships. They were the finest vessels the Empire had ever built, commanded by experienced officers who had won dozens of battles. Admiral Orr led them personally from his flagship, confident that one enemy scout would be no challenge at all. He was wrong. The council watched from the station's observation deck. Captain Cole stood among them, his face tight with worry. Commander Park and Doctor were beside him. Lieutenant was translating the military communications so they could follow the battle. The fleet has engaged the enemy, reported. They are firing all weapons. On the screens, they could see the ship surrounding the harvester scout. Beams of energy and streams of projectiles poured toward the alien vessel. The firepower was impressive. It should have destroyed any ship in the galaxy. The harvester scout emerged from the attack completely undamaged. Their shields are absorbing everything, said, her voice shaking. They cannot penetrate them. I stared at the screen in horror. That is impossible. Those weapons can cut through solid planets. The Harvester scout began to move. It was fast, faster than anything that could match. It flew between their ships like a predator among prey. Then it started to fire back. The first ship exploded in a ball of flame, then the second, then the third. "They are being slaughtered," whispered. Cole had seen enough. He turned to his team. "We need to get back to the Liberty." "Captain, wait," said. "What can one human ship do against a vessel that is destroying an entire fleet?" "I do not know," Cole admitted, "but I am not going to stand here and watch while people die." He ran toward the docking bay. His team followed close behind. The council guards did not try to stop them. They reached the shuttle in minutes and launched immediately. The Liberty was still holding position outside the station. As they approached, Cole could see his crew preparing for battle through the bridge windows. He was in his command chair before the shuttle doors had fully closed. "Status report," he ordered. Commander Park checked her station. "All systems ready, Captain. Weapons charged, shields at full power." "Sam, how are our engines?" Chief Engineer's voice came through the communicator. "Running perfectly, sir. Ready for anything." Cole looked at the main screen. The battle was not going well. 8 ships were already destroyed. The survivors were trying to retreat, but the Harvester scout was too fast. "Helm, set course for the battle. Maximum speed." "Sir," Park said quietly, "are you sure about this? We do not know if our weapons will work any better than theirs." "We designed our weapons specifically to fight the Harvesters," Cole replied. "We have been studying them for 50 years. If anyone has a chance against them, it is us." The Liberty shot forward. It crossed the distance to the battle in less than a minute. As they approached, they saw the Harvester scout up close for the first time. It was terrifying. The ship was dark and angular, covered with strange patterns that seemed to move on their own. It was smaller than the Liberty, but it radiated power and menace. "Open fire," Cole ordered. The Liberty's main weapons activated. Beams of concentrated energy struck the Harvester scout. Unlike the weapons, these had an immediate effect. The enemy's shields flickered and sparked. "We are causing damage," Park reported with surprise. "Their shields are weakening." The Harvester scout turned to face this new threat. For a moment, it seemed to study the Liberty, then it attacked. The impact shook the entire ship. Alarms screamed. Crew members were thrown from their stations. "Shields down to 60%, Park shouted. "They hit us hard." "Return fire, keep moving. Do not let them get a clear shot." The battle became a deadly dance. The Liberty and the Harvester scout circled each other, exchanging fire. Both ships took damage. Both ships kept fighting. In the engine room worked frantically. Sparks flew around him. Pipes burst and steam filled the air, but he kept the engines running. Come on," he muttered as he made adjustments to the power systems. "Just a little more." On the bridge, Lieutenant clutched her station as the ship rocked from another impact. Blood ran down her face from a cut on her forehead. She ignored it and kept working. "Captain, I am picking up a signal from the Harvester ship. They are communicating with something." "Can you block it?" "I am trying, but it is too powerful. Sir, I think they're calling for help." Cole's jaw tightened. If more Harvesters arrived, they were all dead. "We need to end this now. Sam, can you boost power to the main weapon?" "If I do that, shields will drop to almost nothing," warned. "Do it anyway." The Liberty turned toward the Harvester scout. The enemy ship fired again, and this time the hit was devastating. The bridge shook violently. Stations exploded. Commander Park was thrown to the floor. But the Liberty's main weapon was charging. Energy built up in the forward array, more power than it was designed to hold. The ship groaned under the strain. "Fire," Cole shouted. A beam of pure white light shot from the Liberty. It struck the Harvester scout at point-blank range. The enemy's shields collapsed. The hull cracked, and then the alien ship exploded into a million pieces. Silence fell over the bridge. For a long moment, no one moved. Then spoke, "The Harvester scout is destroyed, Captain. We did it." Cole slumped back in his chair. He was exhausted. His ship was damaged. His crew was hurt, but they had won. "Damage report," he said. "Shields at 12%, Park replied, pulling herself up from the floor. "Minor hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. 12 crew members injured, none critically." "Sir," added, The signal got through before we destroyed them. The main harvester fleet will know we are here now." Cole nodded slowly. He had expected that. On the council station, the representatives had watched the entire battle. They had seen a single human ship accomplish what 20 warships could not. They had seen humans risk their lives to save aliens who had imprisoned them for 30 years. Was the first to speak. "I believe we owe Captain Cole an apology, and much more than that. 6 months changed everything. The Liberty was repaired and upgraded with the best technology from every species in the galaxy. Human engineers worked alongside weapons experts. Scientists shared their knowledge of shield technology. They contributed medical advances that could heal wounds in hours instead of weeks." Captain Daniel Cole stood on the bridge of his transformed ship. He wore a new uniform now, one that carried the symbol of the Galactic Alliance on his shoulder. The Council had promoted him to Fleet Admiral and given him command of the combined fleet. 200 warships waited in formation behind the Liberty. They came from all 12 Council species, crewed by officers who had trained together for half a year. 6 months ago, these species barely trusted each other. Now they were ready to fight as one. Commander Park approached Cole with a data pad. "Admiral, the Harvester fleet just entered sensor range. They will be here in 3 hours. Cole studied the numbers. His face remained calm, but his heart beat faster. "How many ships?" 532 confirmed. More may be coming. 500 against 200. The odds were not good, but Cole had faced worse odds before. "Signal all ships. Final preparations. We stick to the plan." The plan was simple in concept, but complex in execution. Human tactical doctrine combined with alien technology. The goal was not to defeat the Harvesters in direct combat. That was impossible. The goal was to hurt them badly enough that they would retreat. In the medical bay of the station, Doctor led a team of scientists from 5 different species. They had developed a biological weapon specifically designed to affect Harvester organic systems. It was not lethal, but it would slow them down, confuse their coordination. "The delivery system is ready," reported through the communicator. "We can deploy it whenever you give the order, Admiral." "Stand by," Cole replied. "Timing will be everything." Entered the Liberty's bridge. She had volunteered to serve as the Alliance's diplomatic coordinator, a role that put her at the heart of the action. Cole had welcomed her presence. Her wisdom had helped unite species that had been rivals for centuries. "Admiral Cole," she said, "I want to thank you." Cole turned to face her. "Thank me? The battle has not even started yet." "Not for the battle, for what you have already done." She gestured at the fleet outside the window. 6 months ago, these species were arguing about whether to extend your quarantine. Now they are ready to die alongside you. That is your doing." Cole shook his head. "It was not me, it was the threat. Nothing unites people like a common enemy." "Perhaps, but someone had to show them it was possible. Someone had to take the first step. That was you." Before Cole could respond, an alarm sounded. The Harvester fleet was closer than expected. They were accelerating. "All hands to battle stations," Cole announced throughout the fleet. "This is it. Remember your training, trust your allies, and do not give up no matter what happens." The next 3 hours passed quickly. The Alliance fleet moved into position. Ships arranged themselves according to the plan, each one knowing its role. The tension was unbearable, but no one showed fear. Then the Harvesters arrived. They came out of hyperspace like a storm of darkness. Hundreds of ships, each one larger and more terrible than the scout that had almost destroyed the fleet. They filled blocking out the stars. For a moment, the Alliance fleet hesitated. The sight was overwhelming. How could anyone fight against such power? Cole's voice cut through the fear. "Alliance fleet, this is Admiral Cole. I know what you are feeling right now. I feel it too, but I want you to remember something. Those ships have conquered hundreds of worlds. They have never been stopped. They think they cannot be beaten." He paused. Every ship in the fleet was listening. "Today, we prove them wrong. Not because we are stronger, not because we have better weapons, but because we are fighting for something they will never understand. We are fighting for our homes, our families, our future. And that makes us more dangerous than any fleet in the universe." He took a deep breath. "All ships attack." The battle began. The first wave of Alliance ships engaged the Harvester vanguard. Explosions lit up the darkness of space. Ships on both sides were destroyed. The noise of combat filled every communication channel. Cole directed the battle from the Liberty's bridge, moving ships like pieces on a game board. He saw patterns the harvesters did not expect. He exploited weaknesses they did not know they had. Second wave flank left. Third wave provide cover fire. Fourth wave prepare for the main assault. The harvesters fought back with terrible power. Alliance ships burned and died. But for every ship lost, they took 2 harvesters with them. Doctor deployed the biological weapon at the perfect moment. It spread through the harvester fleet, causing confusion and chaos. Their coordination broke down. Ships that had moved as one began to act independently. "It is working," Park reported. "Their formation is collapsing." "Press the advantage," Cole ordered. "All ships full attack." The Alliance fleet surged forward. Warships led the charge, their warriors eager to avenge their earlier defeat. Cruisers provided covering fire. Medical ships rescued survivors from damaged vessels. And the Liberty was everywhere. Cole pushed his ship to its limits, engaging the largest harvester vessels directly. Human weapons tore through alien shields. Human courage inspired allies who had never seen anything like it. The battle lasted 12 hours. It was the longest and bloodiest conflict in galactic history. Thousands died on both sides. Ships that had carried hopes and dreams became tombs drifting in space. But slowly the tide turned. The harvesters began to retreat, not in order but in panic. For the first time in their history, they faced an enemy that would not surrender. An enemy that fought harder as the battle grew worse. An enemy that simply refused to lose. Cole watched as the remaining harvester ships fled into hyperspace. They were broken, defeated, running back to the void between galaxies. The Alliance fleet cheered. Every ship, every species, every officer celebrated together. They had done the impossible. Cole slumped in his chair. He was exhausted beyond words. The Liberty was barely holding together. Half his crew was wounded, but they had won. 1 year later, the new Galactic Council met for the first time. The chamber had been rebuilt to include 13 seats instead of 12. The seat belonged to humanity. Ambassador stood before the council. She had traded her scientist's coat for diplomatic robes. She looked around the chamber at species who had once feared and rejected her people. 1 year ago, humanity arrived uninvited and unwelcome, she said. We came with warnings that no one wanted to hear. We offered help that no one wanted to accept. Many of you thought we were the enemy. She smiled. Today, we sit together as equals. We have fought together, bled together, and won together. We have proven that our differences make us stronger, not weaker. The galaxy will never be the same again. She paused and looked at each representative in turn. And that is exactly what it needed. In the observation gallery, Admiral Cole watched the ceremony by his side. He had refused all offers of political positions. He preferred to remain a soldier, ready to protect the alliance he had helped create. "You look thoughtful," said. "I am thinking about the future," Cole replied. "The harvesters will come back someday, maybe not in my lifetime, but eventually." "And when they do," Cole smiled for the first time in months, "we will be ready, all of us together." The galaxy had changed. Humanity had changed it, and whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them not as strangers, but as allies, as partners, as one people united among the stars. The warship had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. Even Orr, who had survived the battle and returned to the station, could not argue. His pride was broken, but he recognized the truth. "The humans saved my people," he said. "I was wrong about them." Cole's face appeared on the council's communication screen. He looked tired and battered, but his eyes were still determined. "Council members," he said, "that was just one scout. The real fleet is coming, and they now know we can hurt them. Do you want our help or not?" The vote was unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, humanity was welcomed as an equal partner. The quarantine was over. The alliance had begun. But everyone knew the hard part was still ahead. Cole shook his head. "Admiral, you do not understand. If their scouts are here, that means the main fleet is closer than we thought, and your weapons may not work against their shields." "We will see about that," Orr said. He turned and marched out of the chamber, already barking orders to his officers. Cole looked at Commander Park. Her face was grim. "This is happening too fast," she said quietly. I know, Cole replied. We are out of time. She looked up at the screen where Cole's face was displayed. The humans are telling the truth. The harvesters are returning. The chamber fell silent again. Fear spread through the room like a cold wind. Cole spoke one more time. We cannot face this threat alone. None of us can, but together we might have a chance. That is why we came, not to fight you, to ask for your help and to offer ours. For the first time in 30 years, the Galactic Council had nothing to say. They simply stared at the screens, watching the evidence of their coming doom, and wondering if the species they had rejected for so long might be their only hope for survival. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again.